Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm your host, Veteran Mountain Man, and from the description, I'm sure you can understand what we're talking about today, and that is Salon, another fake news organization, has put out yet another attack on the Second Amendment. And this one is actually rather sneaky because they go back and they try to use historical evidence, and their evidence is actually fallacious. That's right, you heard me. They're using fallacious deductions about historical facts to try to obfuscate the understanding of the Second Amendment. And as we cut the screen here to the article, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. So stay with me and watch through because you're going to get the whole thing. So, as you can see here, Salon is yet again going after our Second Amendment rights, this time with the assumption that the U.S. was actually founded on gun control. Now, they start talking about the original draft of the Second Amendment, but before they ever do that, we start with this lovely little bit of, propagandistic fallacy, which is that there are 1,000 gun deaths per month in the last 2 years. Well, if there had been 1,000 gun deaths per month for the last 2 years, then there would be over 24,000 dead or wounded from gun deaths in the last from gun violence in the last 2 years. There isn't that many. That would be approximately 5% of the American population. That would be a huge amount. What they are honestly doing here is a very dishonest attempt to obfuscate things. They're talking about 1,500 gun-related homicides in America since the Las Vegas massacre on October 1st, 2017. Well, at the publishing of this, it was December 16th, 2017. So at 1,500 gun-related homicide incidents in America, which I'm seriously doubting that would still be short of the 1,000 gun deaths per month over the last 2 years for the national average. That would actually be almost 25% short, according to their own statistic in their same paragraph. So we're just going to ignore these statistics right here. Now, what they go into is how Justice Anthony Scalia made a horrible decision when he ruled on the Second Amendment in the Heller decision a few years back, and that it changed the precedent and ignored over 200 years of historical context and framers' intent and D.C. laws. And they go into the concept that a well-regulated militia is the reason for the Second Amendment. Well, if you read the Second Amendment as written, it is a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, this is right out of the, Bill of Rights. And one of the things that they talk about is that this particular wording, this verbiage, is not what Madison originally drafted. And here's what they talk about. Here's Madison's original draft. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, comma, a well-armed and well-regulated militia being the best security for a free country, no persons religiously scrupulous of bearing arms shall be compared to render military service in person. Now, this didn't preclude citizens from bearing arms, but here's what actually happened. See, this was never ratified. This writing, this draft of this amendment was never actually ratified. If you continue on, they talk about how when Madison's amendment was rewritten by the House Senate in 1791, The religious exemption was lopped off because it was seen as too cumbersome. Well, here's the problem. They don't tell you this. The Bill of Rights, including the Second Amendment, were not ratified until December 1791. And this is historical fact. You can look it up. And it wasn't ratified until December 1791 because they were in the process of reviewing and revising these drafts. So what was actually voted on as a viable amendment was as it currently stands. It was never actually altered after adoption of the amendment. But this set of statements actually makes it look like it was. Now, this is an intellectually dishonest argument and another example of how Salon has become synonymous with fake news. Now, they go on to talk about Madison's original intent. But one of the things that they don't seem to understand is that, first of all, Madison supported the idea of no standing free army, and that citizens should be armed and able to stand in service to their country. And that can only happen if the citizen can bear arms. That means the citizen owns arms. Also, what they don't seem to understand is that Madison was not the only framer of the Constitution. The entire original Constitutional Assembly are considered the framers of the Constitution, including Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, Madison, Washington, and many others. And their understanding and their ratification of what we currently have is what we have to interpret and understand. Now, we can use the original draft to give us some concepts of context, but we must actually rule based on what was ratified. And because of what was ratified, I firmly believe that Justice Scalia's ruling was correct. Well, there you have it, everyone. As you can see, Salon is yet again making intellectually dishonest arguments in an attempt to deprive you of your rights and to tarnish a great justice such as Justice Scalia. To do it is just repulsive. However, I wanted to make this video so that I could arm any conservative or any individual that watches my podcasts to handle this argument. The idea that an amendment was modified outside of the outside of the method specifically laid out in the Constitution is felonious. The amendment was adjusted as per the Constitution and was ratified as it currently stands and was not ratified in any other manner. And so the original draft at that point becomes moot. Well, thank you very much again for joining me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, or thumbs up and subscribe if you're catching me on BitChute. Also, don't forget you can catch me at my other social media sites. Down below is a link to National Review and Salon, because National Review turned me on to this article, and I went back to Salon to get the original skinny, because you never can tell when somebody's discussing something. So I encourage you to go back and read the original article yourself. Thank you all again, and have yourselves a great day.